And welcome to the show Podium, and we're on session 046. And we're in the middle of a series of shows with the lovely Rudi Kennard. And I just want to read to you his biography so that you have a little sense of who Rudi is. While training as a track and field athlete, Rudi attained a sports science honours degree and went on to become a personal trainer and fitness coach. It was around this time that Rudi appeared as a contestant on the TV show Gladiators, which led him to study many mental performance strategies like NLP, clinical hypnosis, and mindfulness. 14 years ago, Rudi came across an understanding of the nature of experience, termed the 3 principles, and has since then given training in over a dozen countries, spoken at international conferences, on the radio, and served many populations from corporate executives to school children and jail inmates. So just before we go over to the recording, just to set the scene, Rudi and I talk about insight versus the intellect, and how with this understanding, transformation happens in people, not by gaining knowledge, but by insightfully realising something. So let's just go straight over there now. It's such a different dimension to look towards understanding our psychology, understanding our experience, rather than trying to change it or assuming that we need to change it because it feels bad. And I think if we can kind of just delve there, because we keep saying things like, yeah, you get an insight, you get a realization, and suddenly you see your experience for what it is. It's fluid, it's transitory, it's impermanent, it's not you. And that it's coming and going all on its own. And underneath that, you are okay. You are perfect and whole. And there is nothing to change. And so for the listeners, Rudi, can we... because this is not an intellectual understanding. We can't say, you don't need to worry too much about your thinking, even though you feel rubbish. Even though you're freaking out, don't worry about it. That's not what we're talking about. In effect, we are, but actually we know that that sort of instruction isn't helpful. And so each individual human being has their own insight. And I love that we never know what it is each of us sees that has this enormous transformational impact on our lives. And we've only got words in which we've got to describe what it is we've seen. So what would you say to people when you're talking about insight and realization, and that we're not looking to change, control, and manipulate what's going on in your mind? We're actually helping you to understand the nature of it such that it doesn't bother you, that you can stay in the game and you can perform anyway.
Yeah, that's lovely, Denise. And again, that's a really good point, because what we're talking about is what I term as an insight-based learning. Insight-based learning. It's not with most learning, we learn information, and we can apply that information to what you need it applied to. This isn't informational. It's not in the realm of cognition. I mean, there's implications to our cognition, but it's not in the realm of cognition. It's a inner realization. An insight is an inner sight, a sight from within. It's something outside the realms of our cognition, but works through our cognition. So if not insightfully understood, and again, I'm sorry, but this understanding will do very little for you. It will just be an intellectual concept that may not do anything for you. Insightfully understood, even a glimmer of it will make a world of difference. So when we talk about insight, we're really talking about an idea or a thought that we've never had before. And you go, oh yeah. Basically, if people go, oh yeah, or something like that. That's kind of like an insight. It's something completely fresh. Now, if you imagine like the computer, I don't know if the listener's on an iPhone or a Galaxy or computer, whatever you're on, you've got data on that device. Now, but that device is also connected to the internet. So an insight is like pulling new information off the internet that you haven't got on your phone. It's not looking through the hard drive at information you've already got. It's downloading fresh information. And so understanding this is a bit like connecting to something beyond what we've thought, to something fresh and new and ordinary in every day, because all of us have lots of insights or new realizations per day. So insightfully understood is the only way to really see the nature of experience, because I can give a whole bunch of stuff to do to your experience, and we can put that is within our hard drive. But understanding the nature is a different paradigm. It's realization based. Like when I did clinical hypnotherapy, I had a client who came to stop smoking. I did the non-smoking script. I saw him years later and he said that he'd stopped smoking. I said, oh, that's great. Did the hypnotherapy work? And he kind of said, rather kind of embarrassed, no, Rudi, that didn't actually work for me. I cut down a bit, but he didn't stop it. But my daughter came to me and she said, Daddy, I want you at my wedding. And she's like, well, why wouldn't I be at your wedding, honey? And she was really upset. Like, why wouldn't I be at your wedding? He said, well, you smoke. You may not be here. And in that moment, there was a realization and he quit smoking cold turkey. Now, that's an idea that, oh, I should stop smoking, to realizing it. It's a different paradigm. So this is an insight-based learning. And you can't intellectually get it. It won't do anything for us. That is why, as I'm sure on a lot of these recordings, the only thing we can do is sit back, relax, and just see what occurs to us in the moment. It's not, the more you try and get it, the more elusive it becomes. And the more you just kind of give up, annoyingly, it's more likely to find us.
That is so true, Rudi, isn't it, how it works? It kind of catches you, doesn't it? Like when you least expect it, oh my word, really? I'm having all sorts of realizations like that around relationship at the moment, and it's just fascinating. Well, I hope you've really enjoyed the show. I am loving having Rudi with us, and please do tune into another show with Rudi again next week. And if you'd like to get hold of Rudi, you can do on www.innatewellbeing.co.uk. And if you'd like to send me an email, get in touch. I'd love to hear from you on denise.holland@class-performance.com. Or you can look at my website on www.class-performance.com. And remember that all of the podcast shows now are on the website under the brand new tab of podcasts. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to learning and sharing with you again very soon. Bye-bye.